Okay, so here we are with example 2. In this case, we are asking for how many centimeters are in 0.035 kilometers. Again, we start by setting up our solve for given table, and we know that we are solving for centimeters because that's what goes with the how many. And we know that we are given, because here's our number, 0.035 kilometers. So if we put that in. Now this one's a little bit different because it has those metric prefixes. So if we go back to what we did last lesson, we can pull up those metric prefixes, and we know that we are always going to go through these basic units. In this case, I have two prefixes. I have centi and I have kilo, which means I'm going to use the conversions for centi and for kilo. Okay, so my first one I see is centi. So I'm going to look, where is my centi, centi, centi? Oh, there's centi. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So that's the first thing I'm going to write down. Notice I wrote it backwards because it doesn't really matter since the two are equal. And then I'm going to find my next prefix. My next prefix was kilo. So I'm going to see, where do I see kilo? Up here. 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. It's always going to go through that basic. Okay, so now I'm ready to set up my problem. Since I have 1, 2, 3 givens, that gives me 1, 2, 3 boxes. And I start by putting my very first given, boom, in that first box. Now, I need to get rid of kilometers. So I look, and the only one of these two that has kilometers is this one right here. I want my kilometers to cancel, so the kilometers has to be at the bottom. And I can't split up this conversion factor since they're equal, so that has to go on the top. Boom. I've used that one. My kilometers are gone, and I've gotten to meters. Now I want to take those meters and go to my desired unit of centimeters. Okay, so this 1 meter has to go on the bottom, and those 100 centimeters need to go on the top. Now I'm ready to put this in my calculator. So I pull out my calculator. This time my numbers are at the top. So I'm going to clear this all out, put my 0.035 in. Since 1,000 is on the top, I'm going to times it by 1,000. And since my 100 is on the top, I'm going to times it by 100. And I'm going to see that I get 3,500. Now let's check for our significant digits and our units. I go back to my initial given. Okay, leading zeros are not significant. I have a 3 and a 5, which means this has 2 significant digits. So I'm going to keep the 3 and the 5 as significant digits. Now, I don't want to change the size because 3,500 and 35 are definitely different. So I'm still going to keep these 2 zeros as placeholders, but there's not significant because I never put any decimal points. So I know it's going to be 3,500 because I have to keep that size. I need to make sure it makes sense. And since my kilometers canceled out, my units canceled out, the only thing I'm left with is centimeters. That means my final unit is centimeters. So there's my answer. There are 3,500 centimeters in 0.035 kilometers.